Okay, welcome back. All right, so I have a story to share with you. In my 20s, I dated what some may consider, quote unquote, the bad boys. They were inconsistent, played around with several women at a time, lived a fast life, and would not commit at the relationship level I hoped for. Talk about drama, hashtag toxic. Then one day, my mother asked me, why won't you try dating a different kind of guy? One who has a steady job, wants you the way you want them, has a positive focus, and even dresses differently. Well, it made sense. So I took her advice. And after some time, I was attracted to different. As a matter of fact, the very first difference I attracted, ladies, became my husband and the father of my children. Yes. A lawyer. He wore suits. This is funny, just even recording this. He made good money, was consistent, and ready to settle down. I only attracted it because I was ready for it. You see, it's not because of what someone recommended to me, but it was because I had matured into it and had decided I wanted it to be me. I wanted it to be in alignment with what I want for my life. It was time. It was divine time for that point in my life. Just like me, your life is being orchestrated by a great and mighty power that you may call God, the source, the divine, the universe, or infinite force. And this force operates on a timeline that is not necessarily in our plans or on our time. But, ladies, it is never late, always in perfect order, and matches us to exactly what we need and want, even if we do not know it yet. But we must make the space within. Inhale and slowly exhale. I felt that. We must make the space within. What do I mean by that? We must mentally, emotionally, and spiritually make space to catch up for what is divinely ours. We must not resist and trust the divine force to do what it does on our behalf. We must look for something amazing to happen based on everything we want. We must hold confidence in it and have high expectations and bold faith. This is so critical to you and to me becoming more. So what exactly do I mean when I use the word divine? Let's talk about that. Divine means that something is spiritually orchestrated, already willed, done, and on purpose. It's a soul source at work designed to grant us everything that is for us. It's the universe controlling all forces to work in our favor and do things for us that can be planned and unplanned, surprising, expected, unsurprising, and unexpected, and makes us say, wow, and feel in awe of its awesomeness. Anything in a divine state of being is bigger than me and you. And it's hard to explain. You know, me sitting and drafting and thinking about how to eloquently explain to you what divinity is and how it plays out in our life isn't easy. But I hope you're getting it. And I want you to know It's a big part of a bigger plan for your life and other individuals and those you care for and those you serve. And it goes beyond you and I, and it's for the collective good. And it is always, always extremely good or pleasing if you have the right perspective and anticipate the best. Now, take everything I just said and consider the word time and order. Divine time, divine order. Anything birthed out of the divine is always on time and in perfect order. Anything gifted under the influence of the divine is always in order according to its time. Time and order are one and the same. Nothing happens in or out of order haphazardly. You see, it's according to time. And all things happen in time according to the order that it is meant to happen. Nothing is ever a coincidence, and it is always on purpose. This is why, ladies, we don't need to worry about a thing. Everything is always being taken care of in the seen and the unseen. When we hold this understanding, we grow to realize that everything is working for our good, even what we describe as a delay, a denial, rejection, hurt, emotional pain, and abandonment. Even in all of that, everything is working for our good. Now, all this divine divineness does not leave you out. As a matter of fact, you are the center of it all, driving your free will through the choices you make for your life. Your choices position divine work. Divine work does not stop your choices, but aligns them once you make them. Let me provide more clarity on this. Let's reflect on the story I shared earlier on in this lesson about my mother's advice to attract a different kind of man when dating. That was a choice I made. Then divine time kicked in and order assumed its place. But I had to make a choice. Now, recall lesson 2 on how you know when it's time for more. Reflect on that lesson. Remember, I offered you 5 indicators. Those 5 indicators are in a relationship with divine time and divine order. You need to choose, make a change, and the pressure of feeling challenged, curious, and called, the 5 indicators that I just read off, are all very much the experience of your unique and personal divine time and divine order journey. The 5 indicators and the associated feelings with desiring more come at the exact time and move upon you in the right order based on where you are in your life and what you are ready for at the appointed time. Divine time and order are 2 fundamental concepts that are essential to the working of the universe. Time is the dimension in which events occur in sequence, while order, my friends, is the management of things in a sequence. Okay, let's pause, inhale again. And slowly exhale. because what I'm offering you is deep and it requires a lot of thinking and feeling and emotion. And I imagine that as you hear every word I say, you are thinking about your life. You are thinking about how divine time and divine order has played out in your life. And hopefully you are making peace with anything in the past that you have regretted, that you are making peace and being accepting of right where you are, because everything is in its divine time and divine order. All right? So do the breathing one more time with me and just receive, let in and let out, because you are worthy of clarity of mind as you listen to the teaching here. And you are worthy of being fully present to receive what Spirit wants to lead you to receive in this time. So breathe in. And breathe out. I just want to remind you that you are perfect just the way you are. You yourself are such a divine force. And this is the divine time for you to become more. You are right where you are supposed to be. All right. Now put a smile on your face. And let's talk about readiness for what we want. The readiness for it. See, we may want something, but may not be ready for it. We are not always ready for what we think we want. When living a life that sees value and respects the power and influence of divine time and order, we must understand and accept that we may receive a no to something or from someone we strongly desire. Why? Because it may not be our time for it. Why? We may not yet be ready for what we want. Life puts us on a path that may require some detours for growth and maturing. I recall a story about a young professional I coached who applied for an employment opportunity that made her very anxious and insecure. But she overcame her emotions and accepted the job interview. Now, the job interview required her to make a detailed presentation that was more than she was ready for or had the experience for. Yet, she pushed through and prepared a presentation with the help of her colleagues. She did not get the job and was devastated and felt rejected. Yet, after some time, she secured the ideal job for her experience, salary requirements, confidence level, career trajectory, and personal and professional development. What is there to learn from this story? What's coming up for you? Well, my client realized that she was not yet ready for that job and that divine order was working in her favor. As a matter of fact, the job she did accept was advertised for almost a year, which meant there was a deep need for the right candidate, and she was the right candidate. Divine time worked in my client's favor, but also the employer's favor, which was evidenced by being the perfect match to each other and having a lasting working relationship of over a decade. Everything is always working for the good at the right time and in the perfect order. So advance confidently in what you feel called to do and trust everything will work out for the good. Again, I'll say it, in divine time in divine order. In divine time, in divine order. Let that be our singing affirmation. In divine time, in divine order. Oh, I hope my voice is not hurting you. All right. So everything happens in the time it's supposed to. Ladies, it's called divine intelligence, and it works wonderfully. All right. So I want to talk about one more thing before we wrap up this segment of learning. It's about growing ready for what you want. We can grow into readiness for something we weren't previously ready for. You may find yourself suddenly interested in something you avoided, like the plague at one point. That too is evidence of divine order and time. So when it happens, don't be shocked, resist it, or ignore it. Instead, lean into it. When it's time for it, it will be time for it. When you resist it, it's because it's not the time for it. Sometimes the interest that you have for something that you previously didn't have an interest in, or that you weren't ready for, that you feel ready for now, sometimes that interest may be out of just curiosity. And usually curiosity indicates you're maturing and developing an appetite for something new. Other times, the interest may be out of need and a sense of urgency. Let's use the example of good health. Many of us are not living in the good health we are meant to. Our training about healthy living is often limited, and our habits around food and self-care are not always a priority. And if you have mastered this example, go forward and do your thing. I am at this stage in my life in 2023, now appreciating and understanding the power of good health, because out of urgency, I had no choice to. And then suddenly everything that I choose to eat is highly being considered, and I've eliminated certain food habits to honor my self-care. So if you were on that journey, I'm with you on it. And if you're not there yet, it's okay, because everything happens in divine time and divine order. So when people are diagnosed with some form of illness or disease, it wakes us up. It woke me up. It made me wake up to the need to cultivate a lifestyle around good health. Now, my hope is that if you're not on the path of the journey, it won't take some form of illness to move you towards this. You want to be in the forefront so that you can prevent any illness, sickness, or disease. But again, we're using an example of if one is, right? What happens is we change our habits and tendencies around food, drinking, exercise, and we take action because of necessity. Either way, whether desire or necessity, it's the universe calling you and us to rise up to the time. It's an invitation to get life in order, be blessed, and receive increase, to grow and to become more. And so pay attention to your maturity. Pay attention to your new interest and your new curiosity. Remember, we spoke about this in a previous lesson. It's time. That means you're just moving in to your more at the right time and in the right order according to divine intelligence. All right? Okay. So keep breathing. Keep acknowledging how amazing you are and how great you were doing throughout this course. Do your action work. Do your reflection work. See you when we return. Divine Ones, you just completed lesson 1. We were talking about divine order and divine time. And the focus was really about living life in harmony with its grand design. That's the core message. We were exploring what it means to live in divine order and divine time. So I want to provide you with a review so that you are clear on the important points. Remember, when we speak about divine, it refers to a spiritually orchestrated, beautiful experience that happens with ease and flow. It gives you a feeling of wow because it's awe inspiring. It represents something that is beautiful, something that makes you feel so gratified and thankful. It's where you encounter everything in perfect alignment. And yes, when you are in this divinity, you do create and manifest perfection. There is no error in divinity. When something originates from the divine, it is exactly how it is intended to be for you. And it happens naturally, and it manifests in according to the right time and the right order divinely. And lastly, your conscious choices are crucial in aligning yourself with the workings of divineness in your life. So every choice you make, or rather every decision you make, will manifest into choices repeatedly. And so you want to make sure you're operating in that alignment, that you are consciously making decisions and choices that fall in flow, okay, with the divine. All right, let's keep going. So here's a little coaching for you. We're going to do some coaching and reflection. I want you to consider these questions as a way for you to be thinking about what actions you feel you should take. So the first thing that I have to ask you is consider some of the moments you've made choices that led to a positive outcome or a sense of alignment in your life with the divine. What guided your decisions during those times? That's the question. What guided your decisions? How did you, or how often did you look internally to be guided towards that decision? Are there any instances where you resisted or ignored the divine guidance in your life? What were the outcomes? And what did you learn from those experiences? The next question is, are there any current desires or goals you are pursuing? How do you feel that they will unfold according to divine time and divine order? Also, do you trust they will unfold in divine time and divine order? The next question, how do you typically respond to uncertainty or wanting for things to unfold? Do you find it challenging to trust the divine timing and order in your life? Why or why not? And the last reflection question for you is, how can you strengthen your trust in the divine and its working in your life? Are there any changes that you need to make to ensure that you live more in alignment with divine time and divine order? Okay. Now, here is one important action I want you to take. Just one for now. We'll build on the actions as we continue throughout the course. Action number 1, release attachment to any one specific outcome and trust that the divine has a higher plan. So, what do I mean by that? There is something that you are hoping for, there is something that you desire, there's something that you want evidence about, there's something you want to manifest. And because you are interested in it, you are calling it to you and it will be. But any attachment
you have around its expectation in terms of it being a certain way, I want you to release that. I want you to let that go and make room for the divine to do what it will do for you. When we hold on to things being a certain way, when we have an expectation that we are not flexible on, we get in the way of the divine. We get in the way of life unfolding as it should for us. And then when it does unfold in a beautiful way, because we were so attached to a certain outcome, we do not see or appreciate the gift. So embrace the idea that sometimes things unfold unexpectedly, but always for the greater good.